Derrick Gunn has 4 bullet points from the Eagles' 2,823 win over the Panthers. See breakdown. Carson Wentz took a beating in this game as he was sacked 3 times and hit several other times. That didn't stop him from being nearly flawless. See 10 observations. Despite Wentz completing just 16 of 30 passes, he was still able to throw for 222 yards and 3 touchdowns. He found the soft spots in Carolina's defense when he had to, connecting with 8 different receivers. "We just have a bunch of guys that believe no matter the situation, we can win the ball game," Wentz said. Fletcher Cox returned after a 2-game hiatus with a calf injury. He accounted for 2 tackles, half a sack, 2 quarterback hits and 1 pass defense. See story. Cox stated the calf injury never flared up and he gave a lot of credit to the Eagles training staff for getting him ready for this game. "The Eagles defense had 3 official interceptions but should have had 6. Rodney McLeod told me the Birds knew Carolina wouldn't be able to run the ball on them. That allowed the defense to be more creative on the back end in terms of anticipating and jumping pass routes. The officials were absolutely atrocious. The Eagles were penalized 10 times for 126 yards, while the Panthers had just 1 penalty for 1 yard. We can't control the refs," Cox said. "We just have to move on and play our game. Our coaches always tell us don't worry about the dropped flags, just focus and keep being aggressive," Jalen Mills said. "Both LeGarrette Blount and Michael Kendricks informed me they had previously witnessed times in this stadium when the Panthers received a lot of calls. Luckily for the Eagles, it didn't work this time." Charlotte, North Carolina. Nigel Bradham couldn't believe what he was hearing. Late in the game, after yet another one of his huge plays, one of the offensive guys on the Panthers came up to him and started yapping. He was like, "Man, I don't know who you is but you a beast," Bradham said. "And I'm like, you don't know who I am, you must not know football. But you know me today." Bradham played like a madman Thursday night, with 10 tackles, a 6-yard tackle for loss on running back Jonathan Stewart and 3 pass knockdowns in the Eagles' 2,823 win over the Panthers at Bank of America Stadium. See breakdown. He was all over the field. Bradham has been a solid, steady linebacker in his 2 years with the Eagles, but he took things to another level Thursday night. See 10 observations. Bradham even played the second half mostly out of position at inside linebacker after the Eagles lost Jordan Hicks to an ankle injury. "I told him after the game, I said, 'You a beast,'" safety Rodney McLeod said. "I've never seen that side of him. He did a heck of a job down there. Hicks went down and he had to go in and fill a tough role, but he didn't miss a beat. He made a huge impact tonight." Bradham has gone largely unnoticed in his 6 NFL seasons, mainly because he hasn't made a ton of big plays. He has just 2 interceptions and 4 forced fumbles in 79 career games. But he's played consistently well for the Eagles under defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz, who also coached him in Buffalo in 2014. "I feel like my whole career I've been one of the most consistent linebackers in the league, stat-wise, on tape, whatever it is," he said. "I've been making plays since my rookie year. I've been a starter since my rookie year. It's just the respect thing. At the end of the day, some people get more publicity than others. But a game like this on national TV can help change any player's reputation." Really, all the linebackers played well Thursday night, stuffing the run and in coverage. See report card. The Panthers running backs netted 1 rushing yard, and Cam Newton didn't complete a pass longer than 20 yards. "As a linebacking core, we just want to make sure we get our respect," Bradham said. "It's just one of those things, we're just getting our respect." Bradham was asked if this was the best game he's ever played. He thought about it for a moment. "My best game, it's up there. I don't know about best, I can't say, but it's up there." Asked how he would describe the playmaking zone he was in, he laughed and said it's beast mode. "That's what they call it. Yeah, that's the kind of zone it is. Just trying to create energy, man." All the Eagles were marveling at Bradham's play after the game. They've seen him play consistent, steady and sound, but this was much more. He was the best player on the field for the Eagles' defense. He had a bunch of strong tackles that kept them short of the sticks. He was just flying around out there, Malcolm Jenkins said. "It was impressive, and with Jordan out, we needed it. He was a big part of why we had some success today. He got banged up, he had a stinger, he left the game, then came back in and played just as hard. He really injected some juice into our defense. I'm definitely proud of the way he played." The Eagles got Fletcher Cox back for the Panthers, and Bradham said it's no coincidence that all the linebackers were able to shine with Cox taking on so many guys. "He's the top defensive tackle in the league, so anytime you can get a guy like that back, that's huge," Bradham said, "especially to me. It's probably another reason why my job was a lot easier." Our front is unbelievable and I love playing behind those guys. Charlotte, North Carolina. Last June, the Eagles handed Fletcher Cox a 6-year, $102.6 million extension. He was worth every penny on Thursday night. After missing 2 games with a calf injury, Fletcher Cox wasn't just active for the Eagles' 2,823 road win over the Panthers. C10 observations. He was dominant, as it felt good, his fellow defensive tackle Tim Jernigan said. It felt like he's back to his normal self. Dominating, doing what he do. Cox came into Thursday night as a game-time decision. He had missed 2 straight games and hadn't played since leaving the Giants game, but after testing out his calf during pre-game warm-ups, the Eagles decided to play him. If Cox was healthy enough to play, he was going to play in Thursday's battle of 41 teams. He was playing, head coach Doug Peterson said. There was no way I could sit him tonight. This was too important of a game. With Cox's help, the Eagles improved to 51 and have the best record in the entire NFC. Without Cox, that would have been much harder on Thursday night. The Pro Bowl defensive tackle finished with 2 tackles, half a sack, 2 quarterback hits and 1 pass defense. See breakdown. More importantly, he was an absolute force inside. The same force the Eagles have come to expect from him over the last few years. It felt good just to be back out there, to be back with my teammates, Cox said. Felt pretty good and went out and finished the ball game, which was the most important thing. Cox's biggest play of the game came in the second quarter when the Panthers were clinging to a 103 lead. On 3rd and 5, Cox looked like he had Carolina right guard Try Turner on roller skates. Cox pushed the 315-pound guard like he was a bundle of feathers right into Cam Newton's lap. That forced a bad throw that was intercepted by Rasul Douglas. See rookie report. The Eagles scored a touchdown 7 plays later to tie the game at 10-10. I just pulled the guard into the quarterback's lap and went after the throwing arm, Cox said. I actually thought it was a strip but I turned around and saw Rasul get the ball. Every play is a big play, especially plays like that. Cox thought he got a strip sack, while Chris Long was on the field and thought he got a good enough jump to maybe get a sack of his own, but Cox beat him to the quarterback. Of course, Fletch is just bullying the guard, Long said, and he's just that type of game-changing player. He can absolutely alter every play on the field. Cox was a big reason why Newton threw 3 interceptions on Thursday, and he was a big reason why the Panthers had just 9 rushing yards. That didn't come from their quarterback. The thing is, the Eagles' defensive line actually played pretty well in the last 2 weeks without Cox. Bo Allen filled in and did a fine job. Jernigan started to play at another level. And the rotation seemed to work, but they didn't have Cox. And he's almost impossible to replace. He's so dominating in there, pushing the pocket, run and pass, and it was great to have him out there tonight, Peterson said. He's another one of those leaders on the team that you lean on. He battled through his injury, put that aside for the team tonight and did an outstanding job.